Yo, LaRue.
Yeah.
What are you doing today? Oh, not much. Just gonna work on the GTI today. Working on your car. Can I help? Sure, you could help, as long as you could hold the flashlight for me. Welcome back to the channel. Yo, LaRue here, and today we're gonna go ahead and install the urotuning heavy-duty rear shock mounts for the Volkswagen GTI or Mark IV chassis. So Jetta, Golf, GTI. This is not for R32. I'm sure it's a different part, but relatively the same thing. So if you're noticing any type of creaking, any type of mostly creaking, but maybe some clunking around in the rear, it's possible that it's your strut mount. I also wanted to mention that this install is universal for the ECS heavy-duty strut mount or when you're installing the OEM one back in. Because this car has aspirations to be on the track and to handle extremely well and to overall be really tight, I'm using the heavy-duty ones versus going back to the OEM bushing. I have the original ones on the car right now, so I have no idea how this will really help other than the middle of the bushing helping the strut or the shock staying in position better. So we'll see how it goes. I also want to say thank you to those of you that have liked the videos and recently subscribed. If you're new to the channel, thanks for chiming in. Go ahead and subscribe. Okay, in order to get to this point, go ahead and put your car in first gear, or if it's a automatic, in park. Go ahead and pull your e-brake. I always just do that. Then you're going to go ahead and find a nice spot to jack up your car. It could be on the pinch wells or the point that's a little bit off inside of the car. It's going to be right next to the fuel filter. You're going to notice it's part of the actual chassis. That's where I like to jack it up, and then I put my actual jack stand here in its right position. So yeah, go ahead and take off your wheels. Yes, I know this is not a impact socket, but I don't care because I've already loosened it. So cool, tightened it. Let me show you what we're working with. So I went ahead and got this stuff. I went ahead and got new bolts for it too, because these are all stretch bolts, aluminum stretch bolts. So, all right. So you're gonna want to take off this bottom bolt and nut assembly by putting your jack right on the brake caliper. Excuse me. Rotor without hitting the brake shield. See how I still have some wiggle in here, so it's not necessarily hitting it. And I'm gonna go ahead and raise it up. You're gonna notice the shock is now absorbing that weight. That way it's just easier to get this off. It takes some, because like essentially the weight of it is gonna be on there. So we're gonna have a 16 wrench and a 16 socket. Just go ahead and blip her off, nice and easy. Easy peasy. Just go ahead and lift it up. And then it'll become free eventually. Kind of wiggle her out. There. Cool. So this is a 16 as well. Also, I didn't talk about this, but it takes about maybe an hour, maybe less, to finish this whole job. It's a fairly easy install. Especially if you have power tools. I just recently got this power tool and it's really saving my life. So I'm not sure if you can see that, but I was essentially able to compress this thing by myself. So pretty good indicator that my shit may be a little bit blown, but I knew this. All right, it's out. So this is a Bilstein shock absorber that came with my BNG. You can see it right there. Ooh, that would have been bad in my paint. If you could see that, Bilstein. That came with my coilovers. However, it's about the same length of a stock one. So, yeah. If you have coilovers that have a shortened one or adjustable one, it's gonna be a lot easier to get it out because you won't really have to move this around too much. So, yeah. So the next order of business is is essentially getting out this nut, because essentially we're gonna be replacing the this guy along with the absorbers or the strut mount. And honestly, this one's actually pretty good. I'm pretty sure this is the original one from day 0 that I found in the car, because I didn't replace it when I put on my coilovers. I was young and dumb, but it seems like it really didn't matter, because there's absolutely no knocking or clunking or squeaking. But that's fine. Bushing looks good. Everything honestly is good. It's still absorbing actually, so too bad they're not a company anymore, or else I would recommend them, because man, 6 years and they're still going. It's pretty freaking good, right? Rookie mistake, I thought I was recording. I took the whole thing off and I put this one on thinking I was talking to you guys, but I wasn't. So I'm gonna run you through it very quickly. So I don't have an Allen wrench. I had like some type of oval, looks like a strut spreader. What I used was my 17 wrench, put it over. I used both my hands, kind of prop it on the table. One hand here, the other one like this. And you essentially just kind of rotate it, turn your hand with it, rotate it, get it in there, rotate it again. It's a little finesse. And you just continue to tighten that until it's completely tight. And yeah, sorry, I didn't record everything. Thought I did. But yeah, so essentially I have a new bump stop. It looks a lot nicer than this one, right? Also, you can tell this one is integrating like this one. I use the same shield, and essentially you're gonna notice that it goes in on here, but it's gonna be really held on by this one ridge. You essentially just wanna kind of crack it like a glow stick, and then it'll pull right off. And then when you go to install your new one, your fresh one, there's gonna be a ridge. Don't know if you could see it, but there's a ridge right here. Essentially, you're gonna pop the first knob in, and then you're gonna push the second one into that ridge, and then kind of twist it on, and then it's almost like a tire, like when they mount their tires, how one side goes on and then just all easily twirls in, just like that. And then put your nut back on, tighten it the same way how you loosened it fully. Do not impact it, it's not gonna work. You're probably gonna mess up your seals. Also, you could test if your shock is good. Mine is still absorbing, so even if they weren't absorbing, I'd still run them because I ain't got money like that right now. So, you know what I mean? It's a little rough. All right, we'll rendezvous. After you fully tightened your strut mount to your shock absorber, you got to make sure that there's no play in it. There's no, oh, I just pulled this off, that's fine. There's no play at all, and you should hear any type of movement if there is, okay? So. Yeah, there's no movement. So, since this is a stock height absorber, I'm gonna go ahead and compress it all the way down in order for me to put my shock back into its rightful position, yeah, cool. And now with your brand new stretch bolt, compress your strut again, or your shock, until the holes line up. Put one side through, and there. Go ahead and thread your bolt on by hand. And then what you're gonna do is you're actually gonna go ahead and get your jack again, and you're gonna apply some type of pressure on here so you could actually tighten this down. Essentially as if there was a load on the car. Just put pressure right on the center of it. Distribute the weight. And jack her up. And essentially tighten it up how you took it off, basically. So I'm just gonna use my impact to get the thread going, and then I'll actually tighten it up the way it should be. So after you compressed the bottom piece to get this bottom bolt in, go ahead and uncompress the absorber. And essentially you're gonna need to wiggle this around to make sure your bolts go in fully hand tightened, and they should. If it feels like something's obstructed, you may have to push the mount a certain way to get it in there. And then after that, you have fully hand tightened them. Then grab your jack, raise up the whole brake setup. Yeah, it's compressed. All right. All right, now every bolt is tightened. All right, everything's good. Absolutely no wiggle, no play whatsoever. Decompress your shock. Do it nice and slow. And then check again if anything's wiggling. And absolutely no wiggle. Thanks for watching, guys. This was a do-it-yourself or installing a heavy-duty or any type of rear shock mount for your Mark IV, your Golf, your GTI, your Jetta. I don't know what the difference is going to be compared to the stock one because my stock mount or bushing wasn't really all that messed up. Overall, it just looks prettier, and I have a new bump stop that's not degrading, so I guess that in that respect it's worth it, I suppose. Overall, each side shouldn't really take you more than an hour. It's relatively an easy thing to do. The hardest thing is really not having the right socket. If it's not angled correctly, you're going to need to do a little bit more finessing. but that's okay. You could probably get a 45-degree angled one, or if you could, at 90 would be probably your best bet to make this job incredibly easy. But yeah, guys, I'm doing all this to make sure that I could drive up to that mod meet in Santa Rosa in Sonoma County. It's a European car meet where we meet up at this parking lot at the Mod Pizza. We grab some pizza, some za, and we pretty much just vibe out, chill out, talk to people. A bunch of different generations of Volkswagens come. We have Audis that come. We have Mercedes. We have Porsches sometimes. So it's really cool. If you guys are in the area or even in California, I'm driving up from SoCal up to that meet. I used to live up there and we used to run those meets before, but since I recently moved back down to Southern California, I haven't been able to go to any of their meets. And they have them about, I think it's every first Friday of each month. So yeah, hope to see you guys there at Mod Meet in Santa Rosa. I'll go ahead and put their description or their tag at the bottom along with the description or in the description. Yeah, hope to see you guys there. All right, see you.